on two chapters. They are metals and non-metals and carbon and its compounds. Let's start the quiz. Name a metal which is not lustrous and a non-metal which is lustrous.
Ma'am, iron is a metal that is non-lustrous and iodine is a non-metal which is lustrous.
Which of the following metals will melt at body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius? Gallium, magnesium, calcium and aluminium.
Ma'am, gallium and caesium melt at body temperature.
Name two metals which react with dilute HNO3 to evolve hydrogen gas.
Ma'am, manganese and magnesium are the examples of two metals that react with dilute HNO3 to evolve hydrogen gas.
Although metals form basic oxides, name one metal which forms an amphoteric oxide.
Ma'am, aluminium.
Why is tungsten metal selected for making filaments of incandescent lamp bulbs?
Ma'am, because it has high melting point.
How do metals and non-metals combine?
Ma'am, metals and non-metals combine by transferring electrons from metals to non-metals.
Name a solvent in which electrovalent compounds are soluble and a solvent in which they are insoluble.
Ma'am, water is a solvent in which electrovalent compounds are soluble and petrol is a non-polar solvent in which they are insoluble.
Name one metal which reacts neither with cold water nor with hot water but reacts with steam to produce hydrogen gas.
Ma'am, iron.
Name one property which is not shown by ionic compounds.
Ma'am, they do not conduct electricity at solid state.
Why does calcium float in the water?
Ma'am, calcium reacts with water to form hydrogen gas. Although calcium is heavier than water, but due to the sticking of H2 gas bubbles on the calcium metal surface, it starts floating.
What is anode mud?
Ma'am, the impurities collected down below anode during electrolytic refining of metals is called anode mud.
A green layer is gradually formed on a copper plate when left exposed to the air for a week in a bathroom. What could this green substance be?
Ma'am, it is basic copper carbonate.
What is meant by 22 karat gold?
Ma'am, the alloy consisting of 22 parts by weight of pure gold and 2 parts by weight of copper or silver is called 22 karat gold. Pure gold of 24 karat is not used for making jewelry as it is very soft to hold gems and pearls.
Name an alloy that contains a non-metal as one of its constituents.
Ma'am, steel is an alloy that contains a non-metal as one of its constituents, that is carbon.
Name an alloy which has mercury as one of its constituents.
Ma'am, zinc amalgam is an alloy that has mercury as one of its constituents.
Now, this is the time to move to the next lesson, that is carbon and its compounds. So let's start. What type of bond is present in F2 molecule?
Ma'am, the bond present in F2 molecule is formed by sharing of electron, hence it's a covalent bond.
Carbon tetrachloride is not a good conductor of electricity. Give reason to justify this statement.
Ma'am, carbon tetrachloride is a covalent compound and covalent compounds comprises of only atoms and not ions. Thus, due to the absence of ions, these are generally bad conductors of electricity.
Diamond is a poor conductor of electricity, while graphite is a good conductor. Assign reason.
Ma'am, in the structure of diamond, all the 4 valence electrons of carbon are involved in the formation of covalent bonds. Thus, no free electrons are available, whereas in structure of graphite, 3 electrons in the valence shell of carbon are involved in covalent bond formation. The 4th electron is free to move. Therefore, graphite is good conductor of electricity.
Why is fullerene so called?
Fullerenes are so called because of the resemblance in structure with the framework of geodesic dome designed by American architect Buckminster Fuller.
Which functional groups always occur at the terminal position of a carbon chain?
Ma'am, aldehydic group and carboxylic group.
State the valency of each carbon atom in an alkane.
Ma'am, valency of each carbon atom in an alkane is 4.
Write the name and the formula of second member of carbon compounds having functional group OH.
Ma'am, the first member is CH3OH, that is methanol, and the second member is CH3CH2OH, that is ethanol.
Under what conditions an oxidation reaction becomes a combustion reaction?
Ma'am, when an oxidation reaction leads ultimately to the formation of CO2 and H2O is called a combustion reaction. This will occur when oxygen supply to the oxidation reaction is not controlled.
Name the catalysts commonly used in hydrogenation of oils to form fats.
Ma'am, nickel and palladium.
What is composition of natural gas used for cooking?
Ma'am, natural gas mainly contains methane 90% along with decreasing amounts of ethane, propane, butane and vapors of low boiling pentanes and hexanes.
Why do alkanes burn with blue or clean flame?
Ma'am, alkanes generally burn with blue or clean flame because their combustion is complete and no unburnt carbon particles are released.
On burning a hydrocarbon in air, a student obtains sooty flame. What does it indicate?
Ma'am, sooty flame is a resultant of incomplete combustion of unsaturated hydrocarbons.
Name the ions whose presence makes the water hard.
Ma'am, calcium and magnesium.
How is scum formed?
Ma'am, when soap reacts with hard water, a white curdy precipitate is formed, which is called scum.
What do you mean by term soapless soaps?
Ma'am, detergents are also called soapless soaps because though they act like a soap in having the cleansing properties, but they do not contain the composition of usual soaps like sodium, stearate, etc.
What would be the disadvantage of detergents over soaps?
An important disadvantage of detergents over soaps is that some of the detergents are non-biodegradable. That is, they cannot be decomposed by microorganisms like bacteria, hence causes water pollution in lakes and rivers.
Let's close this quiz for now. Next science quiz will be taken in the next class. So children, please prepare.
Yes, ma'am.